Deadman's Point. Kay Corwin had always liked the silence. Not the silence of a room with its electric hums and digital ticking. No, she liked the deep, swallowing quiet of water, real water, like the kind that sprawled for miles across Lake Michigan. That's why, after the divorce, she bought herself a used red kayak off Craigslist and started paddling. Out into the fog and away from everything. She launched from a narrow inlet near the Upper Peninsula, a place called Deadman's Point, which the locals swore wasn't named for any real dead men, just some old cartographer's joke. The locals also swore you shouldn't paddle out past dusk, and definitely not alone. Kay wasn't the sort to listen to rumors. Not anymore. Not after what she'd lived through in her marriage. She needed peace, and if it came wrapped in a little danger, so be it. The water was slick and grey, like oil poured over slate. Fog drifted low, breathing in the spaces between the trees and lake, curling around her paddle like fingers. She slid into the silence. And then it wasn't silent anymore. It started with a sound that was almost nothing, like someone dragging a nail across a chalkboard 3 rooms away. Then came the bubbles, small ones at first, like the lake was exhaling, then bigger, round and thick like something massive shifting beneath. She paused. No birds, no wind, just water and fog and that sound again. A slow, scraping groan that vibrated up through her paddle and into her bones. Then silence again, until the scream. It was underwater. That was the worst part. Muffled by depth, as if someone was trying to cry for help from the bottom of a swimming pool. Only this wasn't a pool. This was Lake Michigan, and something was screaming from underneath it. Kay turned the kayak around. Nope. Done. Nope. But she only managed 1 paddle before the kayak stopped, like she'd hit a sandbar, except there weren't any sandbars out here. She leaned over the side, squinting into the black water. That's when she saw the eye. It was huge, the size of a dinner plate, and opened just below the surface, staring straight up at her. No iris, no pupil. Just milky, pulsing white, like a blind thing that could still see. Kay screamed and jerked back, nearly tipping. Then the surface broke. A slick black shape rose from the water with the sound of a coffin lid creaking open. It wasn't a fish. It wasn't anything that had ever belonged above the Mariana Trench, let alone a Great Lake. Its body was long and segmented, covered in pale, pulsating skin that twitched like it was full of worms. Arms or tentacles wrapped around her kayak with shocking speed, freezing her mid-paddle. The kayak spun slowly, lazily, like a bottle in a bathtub. And then it spoke. Not with words, with thoughts. A pressure in her skull like 2 fingers squeezing the soft parts of her brain. "We remember you," the voice said. Kay's nose bled instantly. "We remember all of you. You are all still in us, still screaming." She screamed too, but no sound came out. Only bubbles. It dragged her under. The cold was a shock, but the depth was worse. Down, 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 past the shelf, past anything light could follow. Shapes moved around her. Faces stared from inside the dark. Some human, some not quite. A woman with seaweed for hair and stitched lips. A boy whose skin was translucent and whose eyes still blinked long after the sockets had emptied. They were all part of the thing now, all remembered. She was sure she'd die. That's what things like this did, right? They killed you. But the lake had a better punishment. It spat her back up. Kay awoke on shore, coughing out black water and bits of something like jellyfish. Her kayak was nowhere. Her paddle was snapped in half like a chicken bone. The locals found her eventually, naked, babbling, eyes wide like someone who'd seen hell through a fisheye lens. She doesn't talk much now, except in her sleep. The nurses say she whispers about the eye and the screams below the surface. Sometimes when the fog rolls in heavy over Deadman's Point, you can hear a kayak creaking across the water, no one in it, just slowly spinning. And every now and then, you hear something call your name from beneath. So next time you go to Lake Michigan, remember this. It's not what's in the water you should fear. It's what's waiting for you to come back. Some stories you don't tell, not because they aren't true, but because the moment you speak them aloud, they start looking for you.